Hi folks, Robert Feol here, founder of DiscountPropertyWarehouse.net, USAPropertyWarehouse.com. A lot of people ask me, and a lot of listeners on my radio show say, Robert, is it all you do, day after day, week after week, even on Saturdays and Sundays? You just find people incredible real estate investment deals, and you work on building your own real estate investment portfolio. I'm actually human too. It's Memorial Day 2010. So what I'm going to do for all of our radio show listeners, all of our readers, and also for all of our web-based traffic, not only in the United States but globally, I'm going to video log our Memorial Day and give you a special treat. I'm going to show you how to cook a traditional Memorial Day Memphis Style barbecue. Now we have 4 things on the menu today. We have a traditional baby back Memphis Style dry rub short ribs. We have a beef short rib Florentine, which I'll go over in just a bit. We have traditional smoked chicken wings, and that is done with a traditional Cajun rub, but then also I'm going to finish that with what I call a BBQ sauce in honor of Steve Rakeland, the master of barbecue, using a stick of margarine and hot sauce to mop it about 10 minutes before it's ready to serve. And then on top of all that, we're going to do a very, very unique take on a beef tenderloin called a Philly cheesesteak. So with that, one thing you need to know is where I come from. Barbecue is a word. I come from upstate New York. What barbecue was when I grew up was you would go buy raw hamburger meat at the store. You would take charcoal, put it in a pile on a grill, if you had one. Then you would spray it with tons of lighter fluid, which is absolutely nasty. And you would put the raw hamburger right on the open flame. It would turn black. You put a piece of unmelted American cheese on it, throw it on an ungrilled bun. Congratulations, here's your barbecue. Haven't we had fun? Now that's not how you do it in Memphis. Memphis is a little bit different, so I'm going to show you a traditional Memphis barbecue setup. Now if you come over here a little bit closer, first of all I want you to notice Little Fat. Little Fat's in Daddy's chair right now. He also has the mosquito protector on because the mosquitoes love him, so we're trying to do the old mosquito ward off here. I've got a setup here. This is going to be an intense process. There's a smoking process here. So I have several different sauces. We'll only use these at the end because they're sugar-based. I'll show you what this onion and the oil is for in a second. Here I have a traditional apple cider vinegar-based mop sauce, complete with onions. Made that myself. And many, many barbecue utensils. So the first thing we have to do is we have to set up the grill for indirect grilling. Now a lot of people think that if you're grilling, and I'm a charcoal man, I don't use gas, but for those of you that use gas, there's a lot of good advice on the internet. Today we're going to focus on traditional barbecue, and that is charcoal based. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually take my coals, if you can see here they're kind of ashen, and that's what you want. You want them glowing orange, and I'm going to set it up for an indirect grill, which means I'm going to put the coals on one side. Now this is really hot, so I'm going to get my tongs, okay, and what I want to do here is I just want to set it up, and I want to get the old coal dump here, which is like this. Now, if you notice, this is extremely hot, so with dogs around, you got to be a little careful. Put it underneath. And now, what I do is I'm going to rake the coals to one side. Now, this is extremely hot, and you can't feel this heat here, but it's still just a little too hot for grilling, but we're getting it set up. This fire will die down, and when it does, we'll be ready to go. But with that going, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my grill pan here, and I'm going to use this to catch any of the dripping from our sauce, because the fat will burn. Set those up, and that fire is still very, very hot. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my grill grate. I've brushed this before, I'm going to brush it again. Grill grate's in place. Take your handy grill brush. A lot of Americans don't understand that having a clean grill is really critical. So here we've got our wire brush. Now I've taken any of the food off. You would traditionally brush it before and after, but today we're going to brush it just like this, making sure that we've got it good and ready. And while those coals are dying down, you've got to have a clean surface, folks. Good clean surface set up for direct grilling. Now, while we're doing that, one more thing that I forgot to do that is really important is we have to add some wood chips for the traditional smoke flavor. Now here, this is some old school hardwood hickory chips that have been soaked overnight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up, just going to toss it in there, okay? In just a few minutes those will start to smolder, and I'm going to throw a little more on. This will also help cool down the fire. Okay. Okay, and what this is going to do is going to create a very, very thick smoke. We want a traditional smoke flavor here. And as you can see, this has died down a little bit, so we're almost ready. Now over here, I've got our traditional Memphis ribs. Now this is what I did. Last night, I set it in this roasting pan. I have 6 racks of ribs. We're expecting about 12, 15 people today. What I did was I soaked it in a combination of cranberry juice, apple juice, salt, pepper, fresh Vidalia onion, and beer. This morning, I drained it, took the onions off, and I cured it with a special Cajun rub, which is a combination of paprika, onions, onion powder, garlic powder, coarse sea salt, and let's see what else is in there. Some light pepper, some brown sugar. It's a brown sugar base. Now, with that being said, we're putting our ribs right here in the smoker. You got to make sure that these ribs are not put over the traditional flame. And you really want to make sure that they're in the cool part of the grill. Here's the hot part of the grill. Here's the cool part of the grill. So we may have limited space here, which is why I have my handy rib rack. But right now we're just going to try to make do. Make do with what we've got. And space may be at a premium here. So we're going to put these on the grill. And these will have to be the ones that we watch. Because as you can see, once the fat starts to marbleize, it'll be a problem. So we've got this here, 4 ribs, and this is a technique my friend Kurt Davis taught me. You can actually stack things on the grill like this. When space is at a premium. You want to make sure there's a lot of surface. And you're not going to turn these the way you turn traditional. What we're going to do is we're just going to let them smoke, just like this. Now, we have one more rack here. But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that everything's set up here. So, take this, close it up, and then what will happen here is you'll see smoke will begin to pour out of the sides, and we'll have you can see here where the temperature gauge says warm. This will actually start to boost to ideal as you get the convection-like effect, and that is the beginning of how you smoke Memphis baby back ribs. Now remember, Memphis ribs are dry ribs. They are not served with barbecue